Hey guys, Tamus here. I know I don't need my headset, but I've been doing other stuff that requires my headset, so plus it's pretty comfortable. So, as you can probably see in the title, this is the review for the first 10 chapters of Transformers Exodus. I have actually, you see my little custom made bookmark here. That's chapter 11 right there. I have not started reading it at all. But I've been wanting to do this before I have to, because I keep having to read different stuff at school in order to avoid going on to the next chapter. Otherwise I'm going to get all messed up about what the cutoff was between chapters and informationals. So, yeah, let's get right into it. One thing. I know not a whole lot of people like Transformers. Get it? But those of you who do watch this and do like Transformers, please let me know if you guys want me to continue doing the chapter reviews for every 10. Because I know this can be a bit boring sometimes, but say some people like it. I'd say that I give it a shot. So if you guys want me to continue doing this, please let me know. If you think it's boring and I should just stop, then go ahead. It's okay. Tell me. I'll stop. Take something out of my schedule. And plus, then it doesn't really matter because then I can still keep reading it. So, anyway, just wanted to let you guys know. So, of course, chapter 1 is introduction. The Hall of Records in Icon is closed to the public. It's the first sentence. Just so you know, I'm not going to read a book. Just so you know. Yep. Pretty much just the introduction. It introduces Optimus, of course, being Orion Pax before he's Optimus Prime. Before he's a Prime, he's Orion Pax. And he works in the Hall of Records, and it just kind of, he organizes and, sifts through data collections and stuff. And then they, like on the 5th page here, they bring in Megatron, or is currently Megatronus. In the second chapter, this is all in 3rd person, by the way, but by the more of the 3rd chapter, it goes into where he's in the Chaos Pits and they're chanting Megatronus, I don't know how exactly they're chanting it, but then it just goes Megatron, Megatron, and they just leave off the last syllable, hence then now Megatron. He didn't have a name before that, and let's see if I can find this one page. He actually says why he picked Megatronus as his name. And he does tell why. If I can just find it, but I think it's one of these earlier chapters. Anyway, I'm gonna keep talking while I'm trying to find that. So yeah, there is that. So that's how he gets his name Megatron. It does not say what his name before was. I don't know how they get their names. That's just how Megatron got his, and other guilders, and not like actual fancy brother in guild kind of stuff. Although he does call Orion brother a few times. Yeah, it's more of in the Chaos Pits, guild fighter and whatnot. So, yeah. And actually, very early on, there's one main chapter that's mainly just talking, like outsider observing Megatron's perspective and stuff. And it actually, sometimes I have to keep rereading it because these are Cybertronians, and the way they word their language in here. Yeah, but very, very early on, when he's observing from Megatron's, looking down at Megatron, Shockwave and Soundwave are right there, very, very early on. And most people don't really know this, but it's not actually Optimus who started all this. It was Megatron. And he was the one who wanted to bring Cybertron and all Cybertronians back to its former glory after the war. After the previous War of Cybertron. And Optimus just kind of heeded to him. I was like, this is an interesting way to look at it, because they have castes where there are, it's sort of like, not necessarily like the Hunger Games, but it's like they're different sort of districts. Like District 12 is for coal, and then like District 11 was for like farming, and I can't remember what the other ones were, but it's pretty much the same sort of thing. And then you got the little brackets off in that subject. So Megatron actually said at one point, your cast is safe in Iacon, looking, just seeming through records and crap. My cast is in the Gilder Pits. And this isn't just, give a few punches and see who knocks down who. You actually kill each other. And he's like, your cast is safe while you're seeping through stuff. My cast dies. And he ain't joking either. He actually takes Optimus into a Gilder Pit in the underground area places, because all of this is actually supposed to be illegal. But the High Council has just kind of turned a blind eye at it, because it's been helping, it's been keeping the peace, giving some people way to let that stuff go and whatnot, an outlet. And so he actually takes them to a pit in Iacon, and this is thought to be only in Kaon, at least that's what Orion Pax thought. And he takes them and shows them, and he's like, he points out all this stuff. And also, since Megatron is gaining leaders over people not wanting the cast and wanting to be able to choose their own independence and crap, if you think about it, it's kind of like the Revolution. The Revolutionary War. I only made that connection because we just blew past that a couple months ago. It's kind of like that, wanting their independence, right to choose, and stuff like that. And so he's getting followers, but the council is not really watching that. The Sentinel Prime that was sort of there and helped establish this. He's for the cast. He thinks that they're better than than them choosing their independence and choosing their own casts and stuff like that. And it also brings in a couple of characters, like this one. It brings up a couple of random characters. I can't remember one of the other one's name, but he was like a drilling sergeant at one of the army academies for Cybertronians, and there was a bombing there, and he got killed. And it's like, okay, is this supposed to give me insight or something? Because I don't know, he doesn't seem like an important character. But this one struck me as interesting. His name is Armorhide. When I first saw that, I'm like, Ironhide? But that can't be Ironhide. It says Armorhide. You look? Right there, that second word. I don't know how well this is focusing, but it's A-R-M-O... A-R-M-O-R. Wait, let me reset that. I think I keep messing up. A-R-M-O-R-H-I-D-E. Armorhide. Unless that's weird slur for Ironhide, although it's not, because I know that for sure. It says here that he's a comedian. And this one night, the biggest performance of his life, and his timing was off because Sentinel Prime was there in the crowd, and the audience must have known he was there too, and then the charges go off, and then this is when Starscream gets introduced, and this is on the second page of chapter 9 right here, and see this chapter 9, and he comes in right here. So he gets introduced. He's already allegiance to Megatron. Sort of. When you turn the page, and it kind of talks about this. Let's see, what is this? The Great Hall of the Althrex Casino. I actually have my bookmark here, a whole bunch of words and other bot names and stuff that I've actually been meaning to look up, so I can okay. I know this guy died in the bombings, but I want to know who he is, because I don't know, and I want to know. I must know this. And he's already questioning Megatron, because right here, he says, and this is kind of in his, remember, all third person, kind of in his own head, Megatron was not the only Cybertronian with a vision of what Cybertron could be. And then it switches to a new transition. And right away, you can, as soon as he is introduced, you know there's going to be butting heads with him and Megatron. I mean, everyone knows that. It's in the movies, it's in G1, it's in Transformers Prime, it's in Transformers Animated, it's in every single Transformers genre or show or comic or anything Transformers. There's always that butting heads between Megatron and Starscream, and it's, even in here, it's just as soon as he's introduced. I mean, that's how it is with most things, but seriously, he comes back in first time he's meet Megatron face to face, and he's like, Megatron says, the operation at Anthlex went well, Megatron said. You played your part perfectly. It was an easy part to play. I have been close to Sentinel Prime in a protective capacity for some time. Starscream wished they could see Anthrax from the Badlands, but the only near Cybertronian objects in view were the moon bases. And that's in the middle of the sentence, but I didn't want to ramble on about useless information, sort of. At least to you guys, anyway. But they're already talking smack. And Trypticon is introduced at the end here of Chapter 9. And he's like, what I will do is go to Trypticon Station. And it's not to the Trypticon Station, it's go to Trypticon Station. Yeah, but if anyone has played War for Cybertron on any sort of game console, you know who Trypticon is. It took me 3 tries to freaking beat him. But that was only because Debris and other lackeys that kept sneaking up behind me kept killing me. But Trypticon was hard. He's like a gigantic Rhinox, but he doesn't get a sword and shield, and he transforms into a huge freaking space station. But yeah. And then last little thing I want to go over. I don't want to make this too long because it's only 7 chapters. Plus there's a bit I need to edit out anyway, so it should be a bit shorter than this. And shorter than 18 minutes. Orion Pax starts to question Megatron. I mean, he has always known that there would be butting heads. I mean, he knew that when he first met Megatron, and he's like, Megatron says, you know, are you with us, brother? And Orion Pax thinks about it, and he's like, he knows that at some point his way is going to be the wrong way, but not now. I'm in the Kaon pit. I'm in Kaon. I'm in one of these pits. Not really in one of the pits, but you know, this is his home turf. And plus, Shockwave, Soundwave, Barricade, and I don't want to say Bruticus. Bruticus wasn't there. Why was I thinking that? And one other guy, Big Brute Khan, was there, and he's like, this is on his turf. You know, I don't want to, not right now. The time to rebel is not right now on his own turf. And previously, with the bombings first happened, Orion Pax is still in Iacon, or this is after they have met, and Megatron asks them to open up a secure channel, like no one can intercept this, no one can, and I want this to go to every sort of display thing that is there. I even want this in front of the High Council. And he's like, I am not responsible for these bombings. And at one point, it does show like one little page just here on the side of one page, a little insight in the High Council, and it actually does give a High Counselor's name. Let's see if I can remember who this is. I don't think I can. I just basically have a bunch of cities on here so I can picture what they look like. And so they're pretty much just button heads already. Optimus and Megatron, or I should say Orion Pax. Orion Pax and Megatron. And Optimus, yeah, Orion, when he first meets Megatron, they're like, you know, we need to come up with a name. And Optimus thinks about it, and he's like, Autobots. Actually, let me see if I can find that. The way he says it. Ah, here it is. I was able to find it for once. The icars at Iacon were full of long gone or forgotten movements that incorporated their beliefs in their names. One word of complex philosophies. Autobots, he said, for we seek, it's basically everything I was talking about, and I said, Megatron started, and just basically, yeah. I don't know how to really say that in a shortened thing. And see it as our basic right, and interesting, I too had thought of a name, and then, Shockwave interrupts, tells them something, they don't really know what it, they don't really say what it was that he interrupted him for. Orion defended Megatron because when he went on air and talked about, hey, I didn't do these bombings, it's obvious that whoever did this is, liking what I'm saying and is now going against you. Can't remember exactly how he said it, but he didn't say it exactly as I am right now. Oh, sweet, did I just get that? Oh, no. Orion him being in Icon and being at his desk and seeing all the responses to this that's coming in through the grid, he's like, I need to back him up, and so he interjects, and he says, I am Orion Pax. I am in the Hall of Records in Iacon, and I serve under Alpha Trion himself. Remember Alpha Trion? I'll get to that in a second. And I know Megatron, he did not do this, and the second I saw him intervene, I was like, why would you do that? Why? I got embarrassed for him, because I was like, oh, this is not going to go well. Ah, oh, sweet, I got balance. Sort of. I was just like, why would you do that? But I got over it, I kept reading. And, yeah. They still think that Megatron's behind it, though. But now that they know that Megatron and Orion are associated, anything that's associated with Megatron, they assume is associated with Orion. And he actually points that out to Megatron. And he's like, I defended you! Because Megatron said, I knew this attack on Anthrax was going to happen. And he's like, I defended you! You a-hole! Not literally, but same sort of thing. Now, one last thing. I'm almost done. Give me a couple more minutes. Alpha Trion. In the second chapter, it goes in and it talks from... It kind of goes back and forth between Alpha Trion's perspective, Orion's perspective, and back and forth like that. It's still in third person, but it just kind of goes back and forth from inside his head to inside his head. And what you learn is that some people might already know this, but I didn't until I read this, that Alpha Trion is actually one of the original 13. I was like, whoa, that's awesome! And he's actually the last one alive right now. And it's kind of cool. Although, last time they were talking between Orion and Alpha Trion said something and he just barely let it slip. And Orion didn't notice this until he left Alpha Trion to go and think about what they were talking about, and only then did he realize, wait a second. And they were talking, and Orion Pax talks about, not wanting the casts and how other Cybertronians should have the right to choose, and talking about going and getting a audience with the High Council. And Alpha Trion is like, I have been against the idea of the casts ever since they were instated. And when they were instated was literally right after the previous War for Cybertron. I'm just saying previous because, official history of the War for Cybertron. Of this one between Optimus and Megatron, not the previous one with Original 13 and all that. And afterwards, Orion Pax is like, wait, is he? No, that's impossible. Even if they did exist, and it wasn't just a myth, they would have been all gone by now. And he just kind of waves it aside. And he did let it slip. I just wonder how long it's going to take for Orion to finally figure it out. Or if Alpha Trion even just bluntly tells him. He might do it discreetly, he might leave little hints here and there. Orion might just pick up on it, I'm not sure. But this video has been long enough. I'm sorry if this has been boring the crap out of you. Please post in the comments if you would like me to do the next 10 chapters. And I shall continue to explain them as best as I can. Next time I'm going to actually have to do this a lot better because I kept jumping back and forth. But that was pretty much explaining, making it make sense. Anywho, I'm going to go. This is Tamus, and I shall see you guys next time. Peace out.